I genuinely thought I was losing my mind by the end." That's what Robert Pattinson confessed about switching between different Mickey personalities, sometimes 5 times in a single day of shooting Mickey 17. The mental toll of constantly shifting identities left him questioning where one character ended and another began. From mind-bending challenges to innovative solutions, today on Movies Unbound, we're taking you inside the film that pushed modern filmmaking to its limits. What begins as seemingly impossible obstacles transforms into groundbreaking cinema through creative problem-solving. If you've ever wondered how directors tackle these complex puzzles, this is the behind-the-scenes look you've been waiting for. Let's jump in. The clone conundrum: filming one actor against himself. How do you film scenes where the same actor has to physically interact with himself? That's the question that kept Bong Joon-Ho awake at night during the making of Mickey 17. The production team faced what seemed like an impossible challenge. They needed Robert Pattinson to not just appear twice in the same frame, but to physically touch, fight, and emotionally connect with himself. Traditional filmmaking tricks just weren't cutting it. Split-screen techniques that worked fine for basic conversations couldn't handle the intimate physical interactions Bong envisioned between Mickey 17 and Mickey 18. The crew tested everything they could think of: body doubles, green screen effects, even the old tennis ball on a stick trick. But nothing was delivering the authentic emotional connection the director demanded. The team studied other films that had tackled similar challenges. Remember that creepy scene in Alien Covenant where Michael Fassbender kissed himself? Mickey 17 needed to go far beyond that level of interaction, with extended sequences of the two Mickeys fighting, embracing, and even dancing together. Pattinson's performance challenges were equally mind-boggling. He developed an intricate mental mapping system to remember exactly where his other self would be standing in each take. This wasn't just about hitting marks. He needed to precisely time emotional reactions to lines he'd already recorded days earlier, requiring an unprecedented level of concentration. What finally cracked the code was when the technical team invented a completely new camera tracking system. This revolutionary setup could perfectly replicate camera movements across multiple takes with submillimeter precision. For the first time, they could ensure seamless composite shots when Pattinson needed to interact with himself. But the real game changer was Bong's hybrid approach. He combined motion control cameras with cutting-edge AI-enhanced face replacement and a technique the crew called performance mirroring. This groundbreaking method projected a holographic version of Pattinson's previous performance into his field of vision while filming the second character. Imagine acting against a ghost version of yourself that only you can see. The high-tech solution still needed old-school precision to work. Bong's meticulous storyboarding became the production's Bible. He created detailed comic book-style shot lists, mapping every interaction down to the centimeter. Each movement was calculated and recalculated to ensure perfect alignment when the separate performances were composited together. "I had to develop a deep understanding of each character's emotions and motivations," Pattinson explained in a behind-the-scenes interview. "The concentration needed was intense. I couldn't just act. I had to remember exactly where my other performance would be and how it would feel emotionally." The system wasn't perfect at first. Sometimes Pattinson would rehearse for hours, only to discover the holographic playback was slightly misaligned, forcing the team to reshoot entire sequences. The physical toll was considerable too. Some days Pattinson performed the same scene 10 times, switching characters each time. Inside the human printer, the freezing chamber challenge. Creating a body from nothing is way harder than it looks on screen. The human printer, that amazing device that brings Mickey back to life in the film, almost didn't make it into the final cut. While the scene where we watch a new Mickey form before our eyes seems flawless in theaters, it was actually a technical nightmare that pushed the production team to their breaking point. The original concept for Mickey's rebirth called for a liquid-filled chamber that would gradually print his body. Sounds cool, right? Wrong. The first tests were a disaster. The liquid looked completely fake on camera, equipment kept malfunctioning, and there were serious safety concerns about keeping Pattinson submerged for the lengthy shooting schedule. "We had this grand vision of a suspended animation tank," production designer Fiona Crombie revealed in a behind-the-scenes interview, but reality quickly set in. Crombie's team didn't just give up after the first failure. They went back to the drawing board not once, not twice, but 3 separate times before landing on a solution that actually worked both practically and visually. The final design, the freezing chamber we see in the movie, came with its own set of challenges. Pattinson had to endure genuinely frigid temperatures while wearing almost nothing. He spent hours lying perfectly still in what the crew nicknamed the ice coffin, a specially constructed chamber that maintained temperatures low enough to create visible breath. Those shivers you see aren't acting. They're real, physical reactions from Pattinson's body responding to the cold. What's really impressive is how much of that sequence was captured in camera. Bong Joon-Ho was determined to avoid relying too heavily on CGI for the film's most important visual element. The special effects team faced a seemingly impossible task: show a human body being constructed layer by layer without digital shortcuts. Their solution? A breakthrough combination of practical effects featuring a thermal reactive gel that created the illusion of Mickey's body forming right before our eyes. The sound design team added another layer of unsettling realism. Those creepy mechanical noises you hear as Mickey's body forms aren't random sci-fi sounds. The audio engineers recorded actual industrial printers and then blended those familiar mechanical rhythms with sounds from medical imaging equipment. The result is something your brain recognizes as both familiar and deeply alien, perfectly capturing the uncanny nature of the cloning process. That human printer scene you see in the final cut? It took 23 separate takes spread across 3 exhausting days. Pattinson later admitted it was the most physically demanding sequence of his entire career, and this is coming from the guy who did the Batman in a heavy rubber suit. "There were moments I wasn't sure if I could stop shivering long enough to get the shot," Pattinson confessed. The real hero behind the scenes was the effects team who cracked the code by designing a special thermal reactive gel. Combined with strategic lighting that created depth and dimension, they managed to produce the illusion of a body being constructed without drowning the audience in obvious CGI. That brilliant solution came only after multiple technical disasters that nearly forced them to abandon one of the film's most essential visual elements altogether. The personality switch, Robert Pattinson's acting challenge. Creating a body is hard, but building distinct personalities is a whole other level of challenge. Did you know Robert Pattinson actually turned to 90s cartoons to solve one of the most complex acting challenges in modern science fiction? While the special effects team conquered Mickey's physical appearance, Pattinson had to tackle the mental construction of 2 completely different versions of the same character, and it nearly broke his mind. When Pattinson first approached the dual role, he struggled to find the sweet spot between making the characters different enough to be distinct while still being genetically identical. His initial take on Mickey 18 drew direct inspiration from the Jackass crew. He specifically modeled the character after Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville's wild, unpredictable energy. But this approach hit a dead end when director Bong Joon-Ho immediately rejected it as way too extreme for the film's tone. That rejection sent Pattinson back to square one. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source, Ren and Stimpy, the iconic 90s cartoon. In Mickey 17, Pattinson saw the dopey, innocent qualities of Stimpy, while Mickey 18 embodied Ren's intense, aggressive personality. This cartoon inspiration gave him the perfect template to build his characters while maintaining their connection as clones. To help himself mentally transform between characters, Pattinson developed an elaborate system of physical triggers. He created distinct walking styles and postures for each Mickey. Even more fascinating, he worked with the makeup department to create subtle differences that weren't even visible on camera. They existed purely to help him mentally switch between personalities. It's the acting equivalent of method acting, taken to a new level. The vocal work became especially crucial in distinguishing the 2 Mickeys. For Mickey 17, Pattinson adopted a higher vocal register with more uncertainty and hesitation in his speech patterns. When playing Mickey 18, his voice would drop noticeably deeper, with more controlled, deliberate delivery. These vocal adjustments helped both the actor and audience instantly recognize which Mickey was on screen. But the constant personality switching started taking a psychological toll. Pattinson admitted that the line between characters began to blur as filming progressed. "I sometimes found myself confused about which Mickey I was supposed to be playing," he confessed. This mental bleed-through between characters wasn't just a challenge, it became a feature. Bong recognized the potential in this psychological confusion and incorporated it into later scenes, adding layers of complexity to Pattinson's performance that weren't in the original script. This psychological merging led to one of the film's most powerful moments. During a pivotal confrontation scene, Pattinson accidentally remained in Mickey 18's intense personality while filming a reaction shot meant for the more subdued Mickey 17. Instead of calling cut, Bong let the cameras roll. The resulting footage captured a fascinating moment where Mickey 17 briefly flashes Mickey 18's intensity, suggesting a deeper connection between the clones than even they realized. Bong loved the accident so much that he kept it in the final film. Pattinson also drew from anime to perfect the sudden emotional shifts his characters needed. The exaggerated emotional reactions common in anime provided inspiration for how Mickey could switch between states while still feeling authentic. This combination of cartoon and anime influences helped create performances that feel both distinct and connected, exactly what the story needed. And there you have it! Beyond the incredible technical feats and acting challenges, Mickey 17 represents something much deeper in cinema. As Bong Joon-Ho himself explained, this film isn't just about cool sci-fi cloning effects. It asks profound questions about human identity and society. What is repressing us from living a human life? Bong wondered. What is stopping us from truly pursuing a genuinely human life? This philosophical approach to science fiction is exactly what will inspire the next generation of filmmakers. Mickey 17 proves that when visionary directors face seemingly impossible challenges, the solutions they create don't just solve problems, they advance the entire art form. The boundaries pushed here weren't just technical but conceptual, showing that even in our CGI-saturated world, the most powerful special effect remains the human performance at a film's center. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more from us here at Movies Unbound. See you next time.